So recently I was browsing around inside of a Facebook group that I am in with lots of other entrepreneurs in there, and someone asked a specific question about Facebook ads. And I'm going to summarize it. Obviously, this is not exact word for word what they asked, but the general question was like, hey, I've been doing some Facebook ad testing. I was using the traffic objective. I was getting these costs. And now that I'm actually running the leads objective, I can't remember if it was leads or sales, but leads or sales objective, one of the conversion objectives, my costs are way higher. What is going on? What am I doing wrong? And so I explained to this person the concept of micro audiences inside any given audience, which I will break down further today. All right, so there is a right way to test and a wrong way to test. If you want to know the right way to test, I made a video on this, which you can go ahead and check out right here. Bottom line is, whenever you are testing, you want to make sure that you are testing with the objective that you're ultimately going to be using. Now, when anyone's talking about Facebook ad testing, 99.99% of the time when they're talking about testing, they're talking about using one of the conversion objectives, either leads or sales, right? Those are the big ones right there that are going to drive any type of meaningful long-term results that are going to grow and scale your business. You know, what you want to do is you want to use one of those conversion objectives while you are running your test. But I have seen this before where people get some bad advice, and this is what this person, unfortunately, she got some bad advice, and I don't want the same thing to happen to you. So what a lot of other people say, which is the wrong way, by the way, is that they say that when you're testing, even if your ultimate goal is to use either the leads or sales objective, that you want to test with the traffic objective. And the reason that you want to test with the traffic objective is because your cost will be cheaper, you will need less money to complete your test, and then you're going to get your results. Well, I'm here to tell you that advice is dead wrong. Now, it's not that there's anything wrong with the traffic objective per se. As a matter of fact, it certainly has a time and place, as do all the objectives. And if you're curious about when to use all the objectives, I have a very thorough video that summarizes all 22 Facebook ad objectives, when to use them, when not to use them. Let me explain why using the traffic objective for your testing is a bad idea. So yes, your costs will be cheaper, your click-through rates will be higher, and everything from that regard is going to be fantastic. But the big issue with this strategy is that when you choose the traffic objective, you are no longer getting in front of the people that you will be getting in front of when you use the conversion objectives, either leads or sales. So in any given audience, let's just keep it simple here. Let's talk about a 1 million person audience. Let's say that you are running the lead objective to this 1 million person audience. Over time, you can run that same campaign for 20 years. You will never ever get in front of all 1 million people. Why, do you ask? Well, the reason is because the algorithm is only getting in front of people who have conversion behavior, right? It's very literal. If you're telling it, hey, I want leads, it's gonna go then and analyze people's behavior, what they've done in the past, what they're likely to do in the future. And if all that matches up inside the crazy calculations that go on in the algorithm, then it will show the ad to the right person. So in any given audience, in this imaginary 1 million person audience, I don't know what the exact number is, but I would say the most people you could ever get in front of is about 300,000 people. That's not an official number, but I'm just gonna guess that's probably the most you could ever get in front of. And you'll see this when this happens, right? A lot of people are like, hey, I'm running ads to this very large audience, but my frequency, which is the total number of times people have seen your ad, is 3 or 4, but it's a 10 million person audience. So why am I only getting in front of a fraction of the audience? Again, it's because the algorithm is actually doing its job and getting in front of people who are likely converters based upon its analysis. So that means that when you choose the traffic objective, you are no longer getting in front of people with conversion behavior. You're getting in front of people who click on ads for whatever reason, because they want to check out blog posts, read news articles, whatever it might be. They're clicking on ads. They might even be clicking on them accidentally, right? When you're just thumbing around, it's happened to me before, right? You actually just click on an ad because you thumb down a little bit too hard, and all of a sudden, boom, an ad pops up. So that doesn't mean though that you're going to convert on an ad. So again, using this imaginary 1 million person audience, you're going to get in front of a subset, another 300,000 people, but these 300,000 people are distinct from the 300,000 people I talked about earlier, right? So there's the conversion sub audience inside this 1 million person audience of 300,000, and then there's the other 300,000 people inside this 1 million person audience who will click on ads for whatever reason. It may not be a conversion ad. So there's buckets of people within the same audience, right? This is the same thing if you choose the video views objective, the engagement objective. You're going to get in front of a different bucket of people within the overall umbrella of this 1 million person audience that you are choosing to get in front of. So you might already see the issue with using this strategy when it comes to doing your testing, is that you're not getting in front of likely converters or buyers. It would be just like seeing some sort of news article that's talking about an election poll. It always starts off saying, hey, in a poll of likely voters, this is what we're predicting for the upcoming election. Imagine if they started off by saying, hey, in a poll of unlikely voters, this is what we're predicting. You'd be like, wait, what? Why does this poll even matter? You're getting in front of unlikely voters. That means absolutely nothing. Well, guess what? That's the same thing that you're doing when you are using the track objective to test for something that's going to be for leads and sales further down the road. Or it'd be like if you're some sort of massive Fortune 500 company, let's just say Microsoft and Apple in this case. Imagine if Apple's doing customer research, but they're doing their customer research on people who are very dedicated PC users, and then vice versa. Microsoft is doing some customer research on some very dedicated Apple users. That's not your target audience. So whatever data you get back is just going to be flawed to begin with. So be very careful with this advice. It sounds nice on the surface, but it is deeply flawed. I don't want you to fall for that trap. I don't know which course, by the way, this person was learning that from. I have heard this strategy many times. I didn't get super deep. I'm not really into the business of, trashing other people's work very openly and publicly, but I will say this is just not good advice and I don't want you to follow it. So hopefully this whole video made sense. If you have any questions about testing or anything like that, just let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for tuning in and I will see you next time.